Welcome to the Restoring Balance podcast, where two lifelong friends get together to rewatch and discuss why they love Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm Mike.
And I'm Jim. Today we're discussing Book 1, Episode 10, Jet.
Jim, every time we rewatch Avatar, I always dread this episode. It makes me feel so bad, like the manipulation that happens in it. Luckily, this time, I was chill. I think I've seen it enough times that I'm like, I know it's going to happen, so it hits me less emotionally, but it is tough.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I really hated the theme of this boy manipulating Katara when I was younger. I really didn't like it.
I read through your points, not knowing all of that detail, and when I saw that, I was like, wow, he dreads this episode?
It's the worst one. No. I just remember it was like serious, super serious.
Yeah.
Just the themes of betrayal and like the fact that Jet wanted to kill a ton of innocents, was going to seemingly kill Sokka, take him on a long walk, boys. This is horrible. Like, they trusted this guy, and he's going to, like, end the Avatar's run before it even starts, you know? Not even a Fire Nation, dude.
It is definitely where it gets serious. And I'm excited for the episode for that reason, honestly. Because I feel like this is where the show takes a turn to really make the audience, like, open their eyes and pay attention. We're not just talking about an evil nation here. We're talking about a real world with real problems.
And real consequences.
Yeah.
They don't immediately jump into the really serious stuff, though. They have a beautiful opening with Momo. These are the best moments of the show. Momo's the star.
Mike's favorite.
And then we get to see the hog monkeys. We finally get to see... Remember they said they wanted to ride... No, they want to ride the Hoppy Llamas.
Yep.
And they want to do what with the hog monkeys? What did they want to do?
I think just see them?
They got to see them. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is good.
Remember we were like, when will they see the hog monkeys?
Yeah.
We did it.
Momo absolutely tricks him and gets so lucky.
And he gets so many lychee nuts.
Yeah. Uh-huh. That freaking lemur, man. He has so much fun.
I don't think they call them hog monkeys at all either.
No.
I finally figured it out, dude. It only took me, 5 watches to finally realize they were hog monkeys. Because they were snorting. They were snorting and they have like a snout like a pig.
Sure.
All right. We'll take it. I love the emphasis on Sokka in the beginning because this episode is a lot about Sokka.
Yeah.
Even though he's like missing for the last half of it, doing his little plan that we'll get to. Momo got caught in the trap and then Aang goes and gets him down. And then Aang goes to try to get the monkeys down, the hog monkeys, presumably. But then Sokka immediately throws his boomerang, shows off his like skill. He's like, that's going to take too long. With one deft throw, he knocks them both down. I thought it was they were purposefully trying to show his like competence. Okay, Sokka can do things now. He's capable even if he's goofy. I thought they were trying to get that out early because he's going to get like tested this episode. His abilities get tested as a leader in many different ways, you know?
I appreciated the approach that they took with him here early in the episode as well. He declares himself the leader without consulting the team beforehand.
Yeah.
You know, there's no vote here or anything like that. And I remember being a kid when I first saw this and having my own run-ins with different groups of friends or with my cousins when we were playing or daycare with the different groups of kids, wondering who's leading this or something like that. And I remember till I saw this episode that I would always like think that there should be a leader. And then Aang's like,
if anyone's the leader, it's Aang. I mean, he is the Avatar.
Are you kidding? He's just a goofy kid.
He's right.
yeah, he's right. I am just a goofy kid and I shouldn't be the leader. Even though naturally for a group like this, you would assume that the most capable person is the leader. But there's so much more to it than that. And I remember being a kid and seeing Aang so willing to give that up and being like, huh. It made me take a step back and think about it differently. Look, just because you're like the best at something doesn't mean that you're the leader.
Yeah, and your identity doesn't need to be tied up in being the leader. Because Aang lets go of it so easily. He's like, yeah, I am just a goofy kid.
Right.
And he's perfectly fine.
Yeah, that was eye-opening to me. And I don't think I was fixated on that idea until I saw this. And I was like, wow, I do wonder that a lot.
Mm-hmm. It like connected some things for you. Helped you realize you were having those thoughts and then you were able to let them go in
Yeah,
that moment. It procced a little mindfulness for you.
it did. It really did.
That's tough. People pay good money for insights like that.
Yeah. Thanks, Avatar. As they move beyond those traps that Sokka compliments the quality of, they continue to just absolutely tear him up about his instincts. Katara is like actually a bully about it, and it is hilarious.
Why don't you ask Sokka's instincts?
Yeah. Like
It's a good bit.
yeah, it was really good. It's all the better because they're like siblings too.
Classic sibling.
Yeah. She really knows how to get to him, and it is fun to watch.
And they bring that back at the end of the episode, where it's his instincts that save the day.
Yeah. And sometimes they're right, and sometimes they're wrong.
And then they close it beautifully with that. Yeah, that's great.
Really nice.
In a lot of these episodes, they set up stuff that seems throwaway in the beginning. The magic of it is that it comes back to being like useful or very important to the plot, or even like
Right.
the point of the episode. That's the theme, but it just starts off as like a joke. And because this is about Sokka learning to trust himself as a leader and understanding that it's also not about being the leader. You should act like a leader for your friends. It's not about being the leader.
There's way more to it than that. And sometimes you can be the leader in one way, but somebody else can be the leader in another. And after we move on from tearing Sokka up, we stumble upon a Fire Nation little campground here.
It's like a whole battalion in there, bro.
Yeah, man. Pretty
It's
crazy.
Hilarious. A couple of the Fire Nation fighters had swords. How often do they have swords? They're usually just fighting with their hands. They made a whole big deal of it, like their swords got broken by Pipsqueak.
Yeah.
You know? Maybe they just gave them swords for that scene because they usually just use firebending, right? And spears? They use spears? Or am I just going crazy?
I mean, I can't remember seeing a lot if I think of the later episodes. You're right. They didn't firebend at all, really.
Just to stop them from leaving in the first place.
Yeah.
And then maybe a couple blasts. They kind of get messed up by Jet immediately, though, and his freedom fighters. And all in unique ways with unique weapons.
The way they introduced Jet in that way, too, really makes him out to be this cool guy, smooth, capable. And they do a good job. I do remember thinking, like, wow, it's kind of sick.
Cool guy.
Yeah. I remember rewatching this one time, too. And I was like, whoa, he's way taller than I remember him being.
Oh, yeah. I think that one scene, they just went a little crazy on the height. He's like a head and extra above Katara in that one shot. And then every other one, he's like not that tall.
Right. All the other freedom fighters are cool, too. They all have their own unique like look that makes sense with being this group of lost boys. Jet's weapons are cool, too.
Oh, yeah. What is that weapon even called, dude? Like, they're like metal hooks.
Like a hook sword kind of deal.
I wonder if it has a real term. They're fire pokers. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they're fire pokers, but they're sick.
Yeah, he's very skilled with them too.
It's funny because I was thinking that this was like major Peter Pan vibes
Yeah, same.
because he's kind of flitting around like Peter a little bit, like with the way he gets around with those hooks. He's got his collection of Lost Boys. They're in the forest.
They feel like the perfect thing to utilize in this force too, or at least the way Jet uses them.
Oh, his weapon, yeah.
Yeah,
He uses them to climb the tree by sticking the pommels into the trunk when he's fighting Aang. He uses the hooks to swing off branches and to like grab things.
spins them together to like extend his reach.
Yeah, he gets extra range while still keeping it like dangerous.
Yeah,
It's a cool setup they did.
it is cool. Another thing too, like Peter Pan and the Lost Boys, the movie Hook has Zuko's voice actor.
Oh, dude. Wait, sorry. Jet, the Peter Pan, has hook weapons. It's perfect. And he turns out to be evil.
Wow,
Like Hook.
They were trying to tell us the whole
There's
time.
something there.
Huh?
There's something. All right, continue.
Growing up, one of the movies that was just like always playing in my room was Hook.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm not sure I've even seen it.
it's Robin Williams as Peter Pan,
Love Robin Williams.
the previous leader of the Lost Boys before they give Robin Williams the honorary role or title of Pan is Zuko's voice actor.
Oh, really? Dante?
Yeah, Dante Vasco, man. His name is Rufio. during this altercation, we are introduced to Katara's water pouch.
This is the introduction?
Yeah,
Where did she get the pouch?
you got me.
I think, surely we've seen it before. I thought the point of them really focusing on it was to try to highlight how she's learned the water whip.
Yeah, to cool Sokka's burning shoulder.
Yeah, so it's like showing she's sort of mastered the water whip. She can use it as for something as delicate as putting out the fire on his arm. Could be both.
Yeah. I don't remember seeing it before here. And I love that its inclusion not only like shows us this new thing, but it just like makes you think, oh yeah, we aren't near water. And it's pretty convenient for a waterbender to have water because they can't just create flames like a firebender can. So to have it on her is particularly useful.
That is a great point. How she needs water to be able to do things now. If I were a waterbender, I'd carry a ton of water with me, dude. And I would get so tired.
Yeah, like Gaara's sand.
Yes, just a whole thing of water, and I would have a horrible, horrible backache.
That's tough.
Could you use your waterbending to just always make water lighter for you? Just a constant background bending of just like, it's going to be less heavy. Like if a backpack full of water, but it's like 1/16 the weight. That's what I would do, dude.
That would be something special. Just put some air in it. I mean, if you have more air in the closed container than you do water, then it will be lighter.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Well, at the end of the day, you just have a less full container then.
Yep, that's what I was thinking. It's like, so you're telling me to just empty half of it?
Yeah. No. You can carry it around. Just don't fill it all the way up, bro. Of course.
I'll go ahead and do that.
It makes sense in the world that the writers have already established that there are war orphans. This is a war that's been going on for 100 years. You're gonna have kids in situations like this.
These are the repercussions.
Right. And it's been long enough for them to find each other, establish a whole robust treehouse system together.
A whole guerrilla warfare group.
Yeah. There you go. We were reading the description of this episode on Netflix before the video, and I was like, gorillas? Made Mike like define it for me real quick. I don't use that word.
They show the results of the war in the fact that they have all these orphans that have like a deep hatred in their hearts, or at least Jet does, and that's sort of the arc of this episode. Is we begin to learn that he has not forgiven like any of the Fire Nation for what happened to his family. But I wish they had shown more of the village during the episode. I think it would have raised the stakes more. Because I remember always, whenever I watch this episode, it's like, you only ever see the village when it's empty at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my mind, like, the village is empty, like, the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they would have shown a few shots of maybe that little girl who had the doll before, like, maybe just a quick scene of, like, shooting to the village when they talk about how the Fire Nation has taken over that village, just show, like, Fire Nation soldiers subjugating the Earth Nation people. Just to give us a little more investment.
I agree. It would have made you care about it a little more, but also just have it in the back of your mind.
Exactly. It would have put me over the edge for this one.
Then you really wouldn't have been looking forward to this episode.
I would skip this episode every time if that happened, dude.
Yeah, man, it's serious.
He's talking about a little bit of genocide, honestly.
Yeah, literally. Like, he is aiming to do that.
But it doesn't feel like genocide.
Yeah.
Because I don't get to see the village.
Yeah. Jet is crazy. Like, honestly. He is blinded by this idea of revenge. And we see those themes come up, for sure, in other characters throughout the series. Even by the end of the series, when Jet is gone, Katara wants her revenge. And Aang literally says, "You sound like Jet."
Devastating. The worst insult possible.
Embarrassing. And she grows to hate him the most by the end of the episode, too, but becomes him in her episode, in the climax of her arc.
Hate does a lot of things to people.
Yeah.
Changes you.
And as we see with Jet, it can have some serious consequences.
But the consequences are very unclear.
Well, he does try to change, though, is the thing. I do like that they took the step and were brave enough to kill him. But honestly, the more I think about Jet as a character, the more I wish that we got more from him. You know, he's such a great tool for the writers to show more of the war.
I'm actually really buying into this concept. They don't do a lot of backstories on characters, do they? But like, to more Jet episodes, maybe he becomes a little more sympathetic. Maybe they, when he comes back in Ba Sing Se, they give him another episode to make him even more of like, he redeems himself by being better.
Right.
But then his quote unquote death, like I said, very unclear, would feel all the worse. You know, and
Yeah.
you would understand that like, you can have this thirst for revenge, but then you can redeem yourself. It would be like a little micro Zuko.
Yeah. With a different ending.
And because he has the charisma, like his character, people want to see him on screen, or at least he would be interesting to see on screen.
He is a bit of a scene stealer.
So maybe that's something they could have done. Could have been neat.
Speaking of Jet's charisma, too, we finished this altercation with the Fire Nation, and he's like, yeah, let me show you my treehouse, bro. And sends Sokka up flying, and then
Hold this. Why? What's this do?
That was really bad. That was really rude of him to
yeah,
Sokka.
it was. And then Aang's like, bro, I got it myself. And he says, Katara, why don't you grab a hold of me? And they go up.
A classic. I was taking notes at that part, actually. And the crazy part is, he obviously had more ropes, because Aang turned down his.
Right.
So, like, even if there were only enough for all of them, she could have had Aang's, and he could have had his own, right?
Yeah. Don't forget, we have all the freedom fighters, like, waiting their turn, too.
Exactly.
And they're probably so pissed, like, oh, here Jet goes again.
He does this to every girl we find. And then, as they're going up, just the craziest filter goes on. I did not remember it like that. It, like, zooms in. The whole screen turns orange. I feel like there's flower petals falling in the background, dude. Like, what is going on?
The music.
Very heavy-handed, but like they needed you to understand. Katara likes that.
Yeah, Katara was all about it. She falls so fast for him. She literally spills the fact that Aang's the Avatar, like without consulting the team at all.
Yeah, that was crazy. She was like, "He's the Avatar." I was half expecting Aang to just look at her like, "What?" Like,
yeah, same. That's what I was reacting with. Like, what did you say? It's a little nuts, but like, it's believable. That happens.
It happens, and they have been open about the Avatar, but like she just is way too eager to talk about it.
Yeah. When they're together in the treehouse, the manipulation like really starts to become heavy-handed. It was on its way, you know, when we were down at that Fire Nation camp, and you could see like, oh, this guy's like,
He's putting on a show.
yeah, that for sure. But then he continues to put on a show when we're up in the treehouse. But then like we'll compliment them in order to like get them to listen to what he has to say, and then he'll proceed to use the fact that they're listening to him to insist that he must have their help because of their expertise. Surely you're the best for this job, and it like makes him want to do it for him.
Yeah, he sniffs out what each person cares about
Yeah.
and like manipulates them with that. When Sokka's starting to pick up on it, and Sokka's like, "We're leaving," and he manipulates him by saying, "Oh, but I had the perfect mission for you to do in the morning." And then he just keeps doing those to everybody, like using the romance with Katara, proving himself and becoming a leader with Sokka, and then with Aang just being like, "We need this to stop the Fire Nation."
Aang, like you were saying, is taking a back seat. He's just like happy to be called cool.
Yeah, he's really just hanging out. And I'm surprised Aang doesn't... There's no jealousy on Aang's side at all with like the romance between Katara and Jet. So I'm confused why Aang is not super jealous. Is he just oblivious?
Hey, I guess it's just for the sake of the plot. They had a lot to balance here. Like you were saying, a little bit more village could have been cool. A little more Aang, Katara, Jet love triangle would have made sense.
Yeah, but it would have been tough to have reasons for them to stay if Aang was jealous, Sokka was suspicious, and then Katara was head over heels. Like, the boys would be like, "We're leaving." I remember in the first watch of the show, you don't immediately know that Jet is a bad guy. They put little hints. It's all obvious in the end. But I always remember the turning point in the episode is when he's giving his speech to his lost boys and girls, I guess. And he saes,
Now, the Fire Nation thinks they don't have to worry about a couple of kids hiding in the trees. Maybe they're right. Or maybe they are dead wrong.
And then it has that noise, and it like
Yeah.
changes the shot at the same time. Like they make it so menacing.
The background like turns red, even though it's like nighttime and it was dark blue. It's now like red back there.
You're like, wait, what?
Uh-huh.
What did he say? Sorry, what? And the guitar's like, oh yeah, great
Did
speech.
anybody else see that?
That's probably like what Sokka saw, dude, in his mind.
Yeah.
It's also really interesting on a second watch. Okay, this isn't my second, like fifth watch, to study the specific manipulation tactics. He's also withholding information to make them want to do stuff. The way he gets them to fill the reservoir is making up a plan that they're going to burn down his forest. And I was like, damn, he got him, you know? Of course they're going to help. We can't let the forest burn down.
And he tells people what they want to hear. He says that, yeah, Sokka even apologized.
Jet, I'm sorry about how Sokka's been acting.
No worries. He already apologized.
Really? Sokka apologized?
Yeah, I was surprised too. I got the sense that maybe he talked to him or something.
Yeah, I did.
I guess something you said got through to him.
Oh, that was sinister. So meanwhile, Sokka's being escorted maybe to his death. We don't really know. It was kind of vague. But they were going to do something to him if he hadn't used those lychee nut traps.
Yeah, it's like, what does Jet think is the plan here? Right? If I'm going to lie right now about this and say that Sokka apologized, then they are going to find out probably by the end of the day that I am not telling the truth right now.
No, listen. If I'm Jet, here's what happens. I just told my guys to get rid of Sokka. Okay?
All right.
Okay? Oh, no, he's going to blow up the dam, though. So they're going to find... I was going to say, like, Sokka disappears and they say it was, like, the Fire Nation, right? They frame the Fire Nation. But the problem is the dam gets blown up and then everybody's like, what? You're right. Jet is blown no matter what. He is lost in the sauce. It's the revenge, man.
100%. I wonder the same thing when he's with Katara and Aang, thinking that he can take them.
Oh, where he stops Aang from flying away to stop the dam from blowing.
You know this kid is the Avatar, and Katara is a waterbender. She's no slouch. Like, you thought you could take them both?
He keeps Katara out of the fight for most of it. Almost all the fight takes place in the trees, where he's crazy with the movement. Like, I'll give it to him. He's chasing after the Avatar really well. But the problem is Aang's not trying to hurt him. He says at the beginning, it's a classic Aang scenario, like when he fought Zuko. He's not trying to hurt anybody. And that ends up getting him slammed into a tree trunk and falling 20 feet.
Dude, that would have hurt so bad. I don't know if you've fallen out of a tree before, but man, it is not like that. Like, way harder.
I don't get why Aang wasn't willing to fight Jet after he found out Jet was going to flood the village. He had done something to Sokka, and then he tackled him to the ground when Aang was trying to fly away. Why wouldn't Aang fight Jet?
Well, I guess like it's more important to like go deal with the dam.
Oh, I see. So the fight is sort of Aang trying to escape. Yeah, it is sort of Aang running away.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how strong Aang is. He's like trying to want to run away, and he's still fighting him. But he says, I'm not going to fight you, Jet, you know?
Yeah.
Should have just fought him real quick. But Katara had no such qualms, because as soon as Jet finally left the treetops, she showed us a little more of the bending she's been working on and freezes him to a tree.
Of course, when she freezes him, his head is still exposed, so that whistling comes back.
Oh, the callback.
Really great use of whistling.
For sure. They set it up in the beginning.
Yeah.
Where in the beginning you just felt like, oh, this is a cool aspect of the environment. You know, they do fake bird calls to communicate, make sense. You know, that way they can communicate under the Fire Nation's nose. And then it comes back as the signal to blow up the dam to kill everyone. After they already beat Jet, and he's like, well, doesn't matter.
Imagine being Aang and Katara, knowing that you're the reason that that water is there, and realizing that you helped do a really bad thing, and there's nothing you can do about it.
he tricked them into filling the reservoir. And the only reason they found out was because Katara wanted to see her new quote-unquote boyfriend sooner.
Yeah.
So she's like, let's go. Let's just go see him.
I think it's interesting when they return from that encounter and Sokka's like, we're out of here.
Your boyfriend Jet's a thug.
And Katara immediately is like,
What? No, he's not.
I want to hear Jet's side of the story for this, you know? And it's just like, oh, you are blind.
She doesn't even deny that like, the boyfriend allegation, right?
Right.
It's pretty funny.
Nor does she consider that he could be, you know, a bad person. I like that Sokka stays strong and true to himself.
Yeah, he does his best. Aang's just like, yeah, I could stay. But Katara is having none of it. So it's kind of Katara holding them there. The problem is it started off with a sibling like argument, disagreeing about who gets to lead. Sokka immediately starts getting it right, but then Katara still is not believing it. And he ends up being the hero in the end because he followed his intuition, his instincts.
His instincts.
After he escapes his captors, you know, we don't see him for like the rest of the episode until the very end because he realizes he can't stop the dam from blowing, but he can save the people.
I like that they called back the old man's character
Oh yeah,
here. It's really, really nice. That animation style too.
the frame by frame, like showing little pastiches of what Sokka did in the village.
It was nice. Little switch up.
It made it so that we saw less of the village still. So the village still feels fake to me. I like it's tasteful, but it's like, where's the village, guys? You won't show me the village.
Yeah. Another cool animation piece for me that stands out in this episode is when Aang realizes that Jet's gonna blow the dam. That camera movement from like looking at Aang and Katara to just kind of focusing in on Aang's face, and he's like, "Oh, Jet's gonna blow the dam."
Oh yeah, that was cool. I made a mental note
Yeah,
of that. Very tasteful, very nice.
yeah,
The reason why I dread this episode too is because I had so many like pit of the stomach moments. Like my stomach dropped when I would watch it in the first place because it's like when you realize you've been betrayed, you know, when you realize this man's planning on killing everybody, you know, and I was like, that's tough. That's really tough.
it's scary. You come to a conclusion that there's like nothing that he won't do to get what he wants.
Lie, cheat, steal, mass murder.
Yeah,
One of these is not like the other.
and then for what?
Exactly. He's not even going to accomplish anything. He says, we're going to rid this area of the Fire Nation.
Right.
We're mostly just going to rid this area of itself.
And then what? To the great words of our Uncle Iroh. And then what?
And then what? You never think these things through.
Yeah, like what are we getting out of this, Jet?
Sokka's got a good line at the end. Jet calls him a traitor, and then Sokka's like,
No, Jet. You became the traitor when you stopped protecting innocent people.
and then he goes, yip yip.
He yips right at him.
It's beautiful.
That is true.
Doing that was like major character growth for Sokka, I think. Not just his little speech, but everything he did on his own. He was like really the hero of this episode.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Katara and Aang were duped. And he went off on his own, followed his gut, did what was right, saved dozens, if not hundreds of lives,
Yep.
and then came back and helped his friends escape too.
Yeah.
It was like they could have been cornered by the rest of Jet's gang, possibly. Appa was not there. Turns out Sokka went and got Appa.
Mm-hmm.
The glider was broken, so they couldn't necessarily escape that easily.
Yeah.
The Appa's actually the hero of this episode, for sure.
Appa could definitely be the hero of every episode if you really wanted to write it in there. But I think they do a good job of excluding him because he is kind of like cheating.
Yeah. He just came in at the end with Sokka. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
Mm-hmm. It is good. I like that Sokka works with the Fire Nation too. Like this episode, if we zoom out, it really shows us, yes, the Fire Nation is capable of bad things, but there are good people in the Fire Nation, like the old man, and there are certainly bad people in the other nations, like Jet.
Yeah, it's more complicated
Right.
than just Fire Nation bad, everybody else good. But I want to push back on the old man being good. Like we don't know anything about the
Yeah.
old man.
Yeah. Well, it just makes you think. You know,
Really makes you think.
there's two sides to every coin. I like that it's a small example of the nations working together. You know, Sokka is from the Water Tribe, but he's able to communicate and operate with the Fire Nation. Up until this point, again, we've seen fire as this bad thing, but water can be just as destructive. And that's what was about to be used to do the damage that inevitably was dodged.
And that's a lesson the Avatar needs to understand to deal with this world, because Aang's job isn't to eradicate the Fire Nation, it's to restore balance. What happened in the Fire Nation is they just fell prey to the negative aspects of human nature. They are lost.
Yep.
And when we get to the end of the show, we see a path for them to redeem themselves that he forges with Zuko after Zuko goes through the very same process that eventually will be done to his nation. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Restoring Balance. And I just have one question for you. Are you going to eat those lychee nuts?
I don't know. Maybe you should ask Sokka's instincts. No Zuko and Iroh in this episode.
Oh, the worst. This is the worst episode.
That sucks.
I thought this episode sucked.